Kobe smolders, investigate an unnatural storm and encounter the Earth Elemental. A superpowered man, Quentin Beck Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal, a master of trickery and illusion who claims to be a superhero from Earth, 833 in the multiverse, arrives to fight the creature. In New York City, the Midtown School of Science and Technology restarts its academic year to accommodate the students who were among those resurrected in the blip 8 months prior. People who blipped came back the same age. While everyone else aged 5 years in the meantime, the school organizes a 2-week summer field trip to Europe for the academic decathlon team, where Peter Parker, Tom Holland, still distraught over Tony Stark's death, plans to confess his growing feelings for classmate MJ, Zendaya, and avoid heroics. Peter's best friend Ned, Jacob Batalon, tells Peter to avoid saying anything to MJ during the trip, since they have the chance to be bachelors in Europe. At a fundraiser for the homeless coordinated by his Aunt May, Marissa Tomei, Parker is forewarned by Happy Hogan, Jon Favreau, the head of security for Stark Industries and former driver and bodyguard of Tony Stark, who looks after Parker, that he will be contacted by Fury, but Parker chooses to ignore the call. Parker leaves after being overwhelmed by questions about Stark. Even on the plane over to Europe, Peter tries to sit next to MJ, but his plan backfires when his teacher and class chaperone Roger, Martin Starr, takes charge of the seating arrangements on the plane and unknowingly scuttles Peter's plans. Julius, J.B. Smoove, is the other teacher on the trip. Ned spends the flight next to Betty, Anguri Rice, MJ's friend. While MJ sits with Brad, Remy He, a popular student, whom Parker sees as competition for MJ's affection. Eugene, Tony Revolori, is Peter's rival for the academic decathlon. Parker and his companions travel to Venice, where the water basic strikes and continues to unleash destruction on the city. Beck shows up and obliterates the animal. Parker just aids in containing the harm by preventing the structures from falling on top of individuals. Parker is saving a Dark Dahlia pendant to provide for MJ on top of the Eiffel Tower in Paris, as the second when he needs to admit his sentiments to her. Anger meets with Parker and gives him obvious glasses, which were intended for his replacement. The glasses are outfitted with the man-made brain power Edith, indeed even dead, I'm the legend, which approaches all information bases of obvious businesses and orders a huge orbital weapons supply. Roth takes Peter to an underground HQ where he acquaints Peter with Beck and Slope. Beck says that 4 elementals, earth, water, fire and air, were shaped from basic components inside dark openings. Beck guarantees the elementals killed his family and his planet, and that he hails from an alternate reality, one among numerous in the multiverse. Parker dismisses Rage's invitation to battle, selecting to rejoin his class. Peter contends that Auntie Might won't be blissful in the event that Peter leaves his class visit, and his companions will find his mysterious character in the event that Destinies diverts the school outing's agenda to Prague, where the fire basic is projected to strike. Rage isn't persuaded that Peter has the development to deal with liability when he utilizes Edith to prevent Brad from screeching on him to MJ. Indeed, even Peter feels a little skeptical about himself and what he needs to be. Beck attempts to bond with Peter and to embrace his hero character. Unbeknownst to him, Beck is uncovered to be a previous holographic deceptions expert at Obvious Enterprises, who was terminated for his shaky nature. He presently drives a group of displeased ex-distinct representatives, utilizing progressed projector robots to reproduce the natural assaults and take on the appearance of a legend. MJ concludes Parker is Bugman. They find that a piece of garbage she recovered during the fair fight is a projector that presents a recreation of the air basic, driving the two to acknowledge Beck is a fake. Parker goes to Berlin and meets with Wrath, just to understand that the adaptation before him is a deception made by Beck. He fights numerous deceptions before anger obviously curbs Beck. Wrath powers Parker to uncover anybody he recounted Beck's duplicity, which included MJ and Ned, prior to being uncovered as another deception. Eventually hit by a train, Parker makes due, yet severely harmed, and falls oblivious in a train vehicle. Arousing in a prison cell in the Netherlands, he breaks out and contacts Hogan, who flies Parker to London, and uncovers a suit-fabricating machine abandoned by Unmistakable, which Parker uses to combine a modified ensemble. In London, Beck utilizes Edith, what's more, the weapons-loaded drones recovered from Circle, to organize his greatest deception yet, a combination of each of the 4 elementals, involving it as cover to kill MJ and any others to whom she could have uncovered his mysterious. Parker gets through the deception, recaptures control of Edith, and routs Beck, who passes on by a failed drone shot. Parker gets back to New York City and starts a relationship with MJ. In a mid-credits scene, columnist J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons, of the Daily Bugle faults Insect Individual for the Elemental's assaults, broadcasting doctored film of the occurrence recorded by Beck, who implicates Parker for his demise, and afterward uncovers Parker's mysterious character. In a post-credits scene, the Skrulls Talos and Soren are uncovered to have been taking on the appearance of Roth and Slope separately the entire time, as coordinated by the Genuine Fierceness, who orders a Skrull spaceship.